So Fire Knight is like the other dungeons when it comes to these tournaments. You get more points based on the level of the artifact and the rarity and all that kind of great stuff. And it's just like the other dungeons as far as running what stage. Generally, stage 20 is the most optimal in my opinion. That's what I always do, or what I've been doing for 6 years. So I guess maybe I'm just stuck in my ways. Has it changed? Let me know down there in the comment section. Should I be running a different stage if I'm just trying to quickly bang out the tournament points? I think stage 20 is still perfect. And the reason why stage 20 is still perfect in all of these dungeons, Fire Knight, Ice Golem, Spider, Dragon, is because it's the first stage where you can get 5 to 6 star gear. You're guaranteed at minimum 5-star gear, but also the energy cost doesn't go up. It's actually just 16 energy instead of 18 energy at stage 21. So there is that factor that goes in, and generally like you can optimize it and get these stages done really quickly. You see my best time here is for 34 seconds. Now the Fire Knight himself is very tricky because he starts off with this shield. Now on these lower stages and before you get to hard, it's just 10 turns. I mean, that's still a pain, but this is where your champion selection is going to be very important, because when you get to Fire Knight hard, that shield grows even more and it's even more difficult to take him down. Now on regular Fire Knight, after you get the shield down, you can actually manipulate his turn meter, and that's where Cold Hearts come in. We'll talk about Cold Hearts in a second, but having a champion that has an ally attack like a Lady Mikage or a Farrakhan the Fat to strip this shield down is amazing. Another reason I love using the Ninja Turtles is because every time one of these turtles attacks, they all attack together, and that's another great way to strip down that shield. And that's actually how I ended up beating Fire Knight Hard 10 for the first time, was using the Ninja Turtles. But let's talk about the Fire Knight champion selection. So I've kind of already spoiled this already, but one of the absolute best Fire Knight champions is Cold Heart, especially for Fire Knight normal. Not so much on hard, but Fire Knight normal, she's incredible because on her A1, every attack attacks 4 times at randoms. The Fire Knight's the only boss there. She's gonna hit 4 times. So you pair her up with like Lady Mikage, you pair her up with a Farrakhan the Fat, wherever he's at, who has an ally attack in there. And then you run 2 Cold Hearts and that shield is essentially gone. And then you run into her A3, it's gonna attack one enemy, decreases the turn meter by 100%. Normal Fire Knight can have his turn meter manipulated by Cold Hearts, and then you only have to build her and 30% or 70% crit rate, because that's just how Cold Hearts are, because they have that 30% extra boost of the crit hit on there, and then her damage scales based on enemy max HP. So Cold Heart, one of the absolute best champions for Fire Knight, and she's a rare, super free to play friendly. And like I mentioned, kind of pairing her up with the Farrakhan the Fat is amazing. Another champion, I just see him right here, I'll talk about him, is Neldor Rhineblade. I've talked about Neldor a ton, like one of my absolute favorite champions in the game, because he attacks 3 times on his A1. That's great, but he also has a chance of freeze, which comes into play with the Fire Knight hard. On his A2, he has a 4 times hitter on there. Croydon, another 3 times hitter. There's a lot of multi-hitters in there, but that's when you're picking your Fire Knight team. Something you can be aware of is like how many times does their A1 hit. If they're only hitting 1 time, they might not be the best choice. I mean, even like an Arbiter hits 2 times with their A1. So that's something to keep in mind when you're picking the champions for the Fire Knight team. Let's build a very friendly, like free-to-play friendly Fire Knight team. So let's go with the super free-to-play friendly team. Now, I say that loosely because as you see, like my guys are +4, like my Farrakhan the Fat, my Stag Knight are +4. I get that my gear is going to be much better than the average free-to-play player. I get that as well, but this is a team that I think a free-to-play player can achieve and make it work. Thalin, you legit get for free from my link, so no excuses about that. Cold Hearts, like we just had 2 times Voids, my brand new free-to-play pulled a Cold Heart. I mean, there's other champions you can use as well, like Royal Guard and stuff. I just like Farrakhan the Fat. He's got the ally attack. Stag Knight's got the decreased defense in there. It's got some other amazing things. But essentially what I do is I turn off, like for the Cold Hearts, I turn off the Heart Seekers for these waves. And then we're just gonna like just work our way through these waves. They hit hard enough that we can get through here. The Stag Knight might actually even need better gear. I don't even know if his gear is in the right spot. Farrakhan the Fat, I have his ally attack turned off for these waves. The whole point is just to clear these waves with the base skills. And you know who does this really well is the Ninja Turtles, right? The Ninja Turtles are incredible for doing this. But again, I wanted to show like a really free to play friendly team. Now, when you get to the Stag Knight, on both difficulties, on normal and hard, he's going to have this shield. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. He's going to have this shield. and you have to break through the shield before you can really deal any significant damage. And that's why we bring Farrakhan the Fat, because he's going to have the ally attack, and then the Cold Hearts on their A1, they have the nice little thing where they're just going to have multi-hit, and with one ally attack, we break right on through that shield, right? So right through there, we're instantly in, and now we can go ahead and we can just smack the hell out of this boss and get him down. We use the Heart Seeker from the Cold Hearts, and they're gonna drain out the turn meter and just deal nasty damage. He needs to be faster. Realistically, Stagnite's doing nothing in here for us. I didn't realize how slow he was. That's kind of on me, but you can kind of just see. I just want to throw Stagnite in here because if you do need that decreased defense once you bust through the shield, he's an amazing option for it. Even like a Tayrell would work out good. I mean, there's so many champions with decreased defense. No other champions you can use for the waves, like Seer is amazing for the waves. You just got to get some buffs up on your champions, but there's just so many ways. And then if you can just save like those nukes for the boss, it's so good. Now, one thing to note is the Cold Heart is really good for the Fire Knight because of her A3. She attacks one enemy and decreases the turn meter by 100%, and it has a 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit, scales based on enemy max HP. So she's gonna decrease that turn meter. On hard, that doesn't work. So on hard difficulty, Cold Hearts actually kind of suck for the Fire Knight because you actually need to freeze the Fire Knight to get him to decrease his turn meter. It's really awkward. But also, we talked about this previously with Spider, you can build Cold Hearts with less than 100%. Okay, that one's in 100% because she's borrowing Merciless. Yeah, I know that gear. This one, I mean, this one's in a more reasonable gear set here. She's at 83%, just some crit damage. But you kind of get the idea, right? Like you just go in there and you can just nuke away. There's a lot of different options. You could build some really fast teams to get through the Fire Knight to make this run. I mean, my best time on it is what, 30 seconds? Let's see if we can even go faster than that. All right, guys, I got the team. Check this out. Watch this. This is kind of crazy. I should have ran a super run because I need to run this anyways. Okay, so Mikage, she's just fast, so she's got to go first. But we're gonna metamorph him into his second form and then just all over their whole squad. And he's Bakak again and just hit him harder because now he hits harder. Because we put a Gore Crescent on. I don't have a cat's eye gaze, but we got a Gore Crescent and that thing smacks, and then the Cold Hearts just nuke, and we're at like 22 seconds. I actually had the run before this was 21 seconds. So yeah, we were able to improve it, and I've seen some things that even old Marius could improve it even faster. But obviously, like, this is cheesing and we're using really amazing OP gear. It is what it is, but I just want to kind of show you guys that you can make this go fast. But Fire Knight Hard is a completely different story. Fire Knight 20, this is a cakewalk compared to even stage 1 of Fire Knight Hard. So let's go over there and let's talk about that. But before we do, I wanted to show you guys a little feat that I had on the new free-to-play account. So we're on day 37 here on this brand new account, which again, you could set your account up just like this with the link down there in the description. And we're clearing Fire Knight 20, man. I'm actually very impressed I was able to get through Fire Knight 20. The one caveat here is I did get Glaciad, and I don't know if Desert Queen still works, but we're able to clear through here and it doesn't lose. Tuanarok is actually a crazy beast. I've actually been fluctuating between putting Fane in here because Fane has the multi-hitter with decreased defense on weekend, but I just had to show this off. But let's talk about Fire Knight Hard because again, it's a whole different ball game. So Fire Knight Hard's mechanics are way different than the normal Fire Knight. So we can make it there with this team clearing through the waves. Like this is the exact same team, exact same way I got there. But his mechanic is he's immune to all the crowd control stuff, all that stuff. He's immune to HP exchange. He's immune to HP bouncing. He's immune to turn meter decrease in effects and cooldown increase in effects. So the Cold Hearts, the Heart Seeker, it's not going to work on him. And then in order to actually remove his turn meter, you need to freeze him, which there's not a lot of great freeze champions out there. There are some, and we'll talk about them in just a minute. But this mechanic, it's the same thing, but look at this. This is Fire Knight Hard 10, by the way. The shield is tough, and it's very hard to get here, I would say, as a free-to-play player. It's very tough. It's possible, but it's very tough. So let's start this battle the same way we did, and look at this. We don't even get through his shield. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Let's go A1 here. Oh, look at that. He's already smacking us, and we're gone. Yeah, we're gone. Yeah, you have to have a whole way to get through this guy because he is a pain. These slow speeds all these champions except for Mikage and the Rooster, well, I guess all the Cold Hearts are 200 or less speed. These guys are a little bit quicker, but it's just not fast enough for Fire Knight Hard. So how do you beat him? The first time I was ever able to beat the stage was using the Ninja Turtles, because the Ninja Turtles have the skill where they're all gonna team up together. Whenever one of them attack, the others are gonna join in the attack with them. I paired them with a Mikage, and that was the first time I was able to beat it. I don't know if they're gonna be able to take him down. They're in arena builds. We could try it. We could try. I haven't ran Fire Knight in a long time. I'm gonna run it, and we'll probably use the turtles, to be honest. I'll probably have to switch the turtles. I don't even know if I have their things saved. But essentially, like through the waves, we really don't have to worry about too much. I'm gonna use Leo's A3 here just to clear this wave. But on the second wave, I'm just gonna let them do their thing, team up, and just take the waves down. But I'm really curious to see if they're actually gonna be able to take down the Fire Knight in these builds. I mean, these builds should hit harder. I'm not sure about survivability. I don't know. I think it should be all right. But this is like the brute force way of doing it. We talked about how you can actually decrease the turn meter of the Fire Knight, and we'll talk about those champions next of Fire Knight Hard, because it is possible to beat them without having all of the turtles. I think the turtles just make your life so much easier. So obviously we're gonna go right in here. Mikage is gonna just team up in there. I'm actually gonna let him just hit me once here. That way we can use Mikage's ally attack after he goes. That way we get the most out of it. Okay, that's what I was afraid of, was how hard that hit, but it looks like we're actually fine there. So now we wait for Mikage to go. There we go with that. And now we should be able to break this shield down and really get some nice damage. All right, so yeah, let's see if we can finish him off here. I think we should be able to get it. The one thing is like the turn meter gets like all out of whack here, and they start using random skills when it's on full auto. But in order to do the Marius missions, you have to beat it on full auto. So yeah, it does eventually work through there. I was panicking for nothing. But that's one way to do it. Just brute force your way on through here. But what if you're actually trying, like you don't have all the turtles and you're trying to actually like survive a little bit? What are some other champions that you can use? Aside from old Marius boy, I'm kind of a fool for not using Marius, let's be honest. But again, we're working on that. That video is going to be coming soon. So we kind of talked about Glakehead on the free-to-play account. Well, if you do happen to get lucky and pull a Glakehead, he does have the freeze and he has a 2-hitter. What you're really looking for Fire Knight in general is champions that can hit with multi-hitters on their A1 for normal or hard mode. But with him having the freeze on there as well, along with increased attack veil and then some support for the allies, I think that Glakehead is actually a really nice champion for Fire Knight Hard. Another one that I've used in the past is Yakarl. You can actually get him for free from the clan shop. He's got the freeze on there. He can actually smack pretty hard. He ignores defense. He's got freeze on like all these skills here. He can help turn down that turn meter quite a bit. I like Yakarl quite a bit. Another champion I like quite a bit is Croydon the Blue. He's got the 3-hitter on the A1 with a 25% chance up to 35% chance of a freeze. On the A2, a 65% chance to place a freeze with a 2-hitter on there, and then increased speed in there as well. And then he fills his turn meter for each freeze that he places. Remember, he can place up to 3 and then 2 on those skills. I think Croydon, especially for a free-to-play, maybe not, I don't know, if you build him well enough, on 10 you might be able to get through there, but for a free-to-play, I think Croydon's a great option. Yakarl, another really great option. I've even seen people talk about like Helvy a little bit. I still haven't really built my Helvy. I just booked her up for the champion training. Maybe this is a champion I needed to explore again, but I've seen people talking about Helvy on Fire Knight as well. On Fire Knight Hard though, I'm not gonna lie, I was stuck on stage 7 or 8 until I got the Ninja Turtles, and the Ninja Turtles saved me and bailed me out. Just in case you guys are kind of curious, here are my Ninja Turtle builds. Again, I just run them in base arena. Sometimes I'll run them in live arena, but I just run them in base arena on these builds, and they take down most teams. Like, it just works out really nice. I think pairing them up with like even Marius could be nice. I think pairing them up with Elva, who she doesn't have gear on her right now, but I share a lot of my gear. I don't know if you guys do this a lot, but I share a lot of gear. Like, I just save presets for a lot of people. And like, you can see, like, even Croydon here, like he has gear, and I just share these presets. Like, this is my Thalin Nuker preset. This is another Nuker preset. I just share these throughout all of my guys, and I kind of know where they go. Like, this one's labeled Rooster, but Leo's wearing it, and this one's labeled Rooster. Like, I think I just have this one, I just have this one labeled wrong, but I think this is just Leo's build, and that's Rooster's build. But yeah, I just do all that kind of good stuff. But hopefully this one helps you out a little bit for the Fire Knight dungeon. I know, like, Fire Knight Hard is really tough. I think that Fire Knight normal doesn't have to be so tough, especially for new players. I think you just look for those champions with the multi-hitter in there, especially on the A1. If you have like a Farrakhan the Fat, maybe you don't have your Mikage yet, using Cold Hearts with Farrakhan the Fat, have Farrakhan the fastest on the team so you can get that first right out the gate where they're going to strip down that shield, and then you hit them with the Heart Seeker. You're going to be good, man. That's all you really need. Just strip that shield down. It's only a 10 hit shield on the stage 20. And then when they come in with that Cold Heart, bam, there goes his turn meter, and then you just nuke him out there. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. I got a lot of Fire Knight to run. I'm actually going to go run Fire Knight hard because, again, I want to build Donkey, but I need some Savage gear. And I think I want to build him for Arena. I don't know. I kind of want to build him like in 6-piece Merciless, and then I kind of also want to build him in like 4-piece Stone Skin, 4-piece Savage type of deal. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one.